Flyover State of Film was shot in front of a live studio audience.
Welcome back to Flyover State of Film, and I got my boys. I feel like it has been 3 years and like 2 days, all in one. We got Yusuf, we got TJ, we got Brian as always, and this is like the palate cleanser lead up episode to our normally epic Halloween episode.
You're gonna get so much fucking horror content.
So we'll be like light on the
horror content.
Well, it's kind of like 2 episodes filled of horror content, especially next week. A little teaser for next week, or the Halloween special. We're doing our just trying away from the different format this year. We'll be doing our top 10 horror movies, except Yusuf will be adding one movie that we will have to place within the top 10.
You'll be revealing that movie at the end of the show.
Yes.
So stick around.
So
wow, teasers and everything.
I haven't said that. How are my boys?
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
All right, bye.
Comment down below.
Follow us here. How are my boys
Follow us on the socials.
I did not have the most violent diarrhea of my life about 15 minutes ago.
Talking about diarrhea, how about we talk about Halloween?
Oh no!
How about we talk about that?
I'm glad I talked over your transition because that's terrible.
All right, so we all saw Halloween Ends, and we all have opinions.
Flopped on Peacock.
Hell yeah, Halloween Ends.
I want to leave with Brian. So this is all spoilers for our 3 listeners.
And we're not gonna try this. We're trying to just keep it short. We won't spend time on it.
So I want to start with Brian though, just because I think of the 4 of us, you're the outlier who is.
Listen. I need. There's we've been doing a little talking on the group chat. I don't want to get it twisted. There's like a lot of bad things about Halloween Ends for sure, but there's tons of bad Halloween sequels, and this one is at least weird and has some interesting stuff going on in it, and I give points for that. Like, that counts to me. So, like, I'm not saying I'm not like on the bandwagon. Like, I'm not one of those people who like this is the best thing, but it's definitely better than Halloween Kills, and it feels more like a direct sequel to Halloween 2018. Like the whole idea of like at the end of that when Allison's like looking at the knife and she's still got it when they're in the truck,
and she should have been Michael.
To this would make more sense. It would feel more.
And she should have been Corey. If Allison had become Corey's character, you have an awesome movie.
Or Jamie Lloyd could have been Corey.
Yeah, it's the same plot, right? but
I just want to get that out there. Like, there's stuff I like in it.
Right? Yeah. The only reason you like this movie is because the band kids are like the bad boys of the town, and you grew up being a band kid, and you're like, finally, I'm seen. I'm the bad boy.
Now, I will say that I was a nerd who bullied even bigger nerds than me, so they got that part right. But I was on the swim team, not in the band.
But they were ready.
Was fucking what's his name's brother, Franco, Dave Franco, in that fucking role. That's Dave Franco.
Too old now. He can't be that role anymore. He's too old.
I think that kid was the kid in the show The Mick.
There's definitely no way a kid with that haircut bullies anyone ever.
I think he was the little ginger
embarrassing mullet. Like, fuck, are you kidding me?
Mullet. No, it's not only a mullet. It's a mullet with bangs, short
bangs. It's like
bangs.
a bowl cut and a mullet.
And bleached hair. Like, you don't sit.
He looks like Matt
bleaching
Damon
your
in the
eyebrows.
Last Duel.
It was
Last Duel. He looks like Matt Damon.
You don't sit at home bleaching your eyebrows and then go outside and be like, "What's up, motherfucker?"
Well, and also, no one in the world has ever looked tough with a drumstick. Like, I know drummers think they're badasses, but no one has ever looked tough. I don't care how much you spin it and twirl it. No, that's like a tiny baton. That's nothing.
He hits it with him, right? He hits him once with it.
Yeah, but what was that? That wouldn't even, you wouldn't even feel it. Like,
it wouldn't be nothing.
It would be less than getting hit with a ruler. What?
And it would probably snap. Just hit your arm.
Yeah.
I don't know. The story is very clunky. The dialogue is god awful.
I think it's the worst dialogue.
Some of the performances in dialogue are really, really bad.
The characters make no sense.
I love that. I love the opening. I really love the opening.
It's so hard, but I like the opening.
I cracked the fuck up because I didn't expect that.
I was laughing my ass off.
It caught you way off guard.
I was laughing my ass off. And
now here's the thing.
My wife.
And I talked to Joe about this when we were talking about clunky dialogue and bad writing. And I think part of my thing with this movie is it wants to be a smart horror movie, like a prestige horror movie, but it knows that Halloween audience is super dumb. So everything it does, it has to like clunkily explain to you all the time. So that's why you get the kid 5 minutes before he dies go, Michael Myers doesn't kill kids, he only kills babysitters. I was like, the minute that kid said that, I was like, oh, you're dead. I don't know how it's going to happen. I didn't predict how it was going to happen, but I knew that kid wasn't going to make it because they had to call their shot. Same thing with the nurse who's like, oh, I always thought Michael Myers and Laurie could be in love. It's like, okay, now you've taken all the steam out of people like seeing what you're doing with Corey and Allison and like that analog because you just said it out loud. What could have at least been something to think about and like have in your mind is just like some dumb character just has to say it.
I wanna give props to TJ like 100% because I was laughing for like 5 minutes after he tweeted the GIF of Kanye and Kim on the bike.
I was TJ, you've been on fire with this movie. I mean,
motorcycle fucking cutscenes where and like the fast pace through the street, like it was like a A24 style. I'm just like, okay.
That's what I'm saying. They wanted to be. They had that like we want to be an art house horror movie. They were trying.
The whole David Gordon Green trilogy wanted to be an art house style film, and they were like, wait, slashers aren't.
Right. Well, and also like the audience for Halloween doesn't watch those movies, so like they don't like them. They think they're boring.
To every single person who hasn't seen Season of the Witch and just know that Michael Myers isn't in it because he isn't in it for like the first. Other than being mentioned, he's not in it for the first. I think I clocked it like 38 minutes and like 25 seconds.
Oh, you're talking about Halloween Ends, yeah.
But they're calling everyone's like, oh, this is like Season of the Witch. It's just like
it's not.
It's definitely not like Season of the Witch.
They use the same cast from all the original films that David Lowery's done. Michael Myers is in it, and it has zero like it. If it in its best,
it's not weird enough.
I think what it has going on like the reason they were like doing the Season of the Witch font and the whole thing with having a fresh, clean, uncut pumpkin, like a new pumpkin come through at the very end of is like they're trying to telegraph that this is going to be different than their movie.
It's like
we are doing something different like Halloween 3 did, but not as different as Halloween 3. And it's definitely not that.
The structure of these 3 movies are the structure of the first 3 Halloween movies, right? Like the first one's a carbon copy of Halloween, essentially. The second one is brutal like Halloween 2. Halloween Kills is brutal like Halloween 2, although it's not nearly as good. It's actually fucking terrible. And then Halloween Ends is like, we're going to be different, but we need to put it in. But the comparisons of it's like no, because truly, if I just took away the name on Halloween from Season of the Witch, people would be like, that was it's goofy as shit, but like, that was a fun little Halloween tale.
Yeah.
You actually have to change full-blown characters and storylines in Halloween Ends for it to be different.
There's no Michael Myers injecting his evil through the islands.
Okay. When him and Corey.
Okay, now I've seen a couple things on this.
Tussled,
when he grabs him, do you think is like
who gives a fuck?
Is he possessing him? Is he possessing him, or is he like reading that he's killed too and like connecting with him?
No, I think he's possessing him because then his character changes, but he sees what his emotion has gone through, and I think this movie is implying, and this is why it's so fucking dumb and it's so weird to talk about. Michael Myers is like an entity that itself is like when he's around Haddonfield and Haddonfield's afraid of him, he's strong. But now that there's a new person for Haddonfield
Yeah,
to
they
be,
made him. They made him
Uh,
like it or
it's like
Yeah,
Nightmare. Or,
I
yeah,
actually, I legitimately at the very when like gets knocked, the dude knocks him down and he's all decrepit and he does. I liked that. I was like, oh, cool. They're gonna make him actually finally like he's reached his limit. He's
Yeah.
too beaten down to continue. He doesn't have it in him anymore. And then I don't know what I thought was gonna happen. Maybe Corey would take over, but either way, something. And then he just powered up from stabbing. He got strong from stabbing.
them tussling.
yeah, that
Fucking-
didn't make sense because the homeless guy said that there's been multiple people going in there.
Right. Why didn't
So
that
he's-
power him up?
I also it like
He goes like he jizzed on his pants. He's like,
ugh. And then he's like, Allison, you know all this trauma you went through? Don't worry about it. I'm getting revenge now. It's the same. And she's like, okay. He's a
Yeah,
nice
there was so
Queen
much
of-
inconsistency. They never established why Allison would want anything to do. Like they never make you understand why she would want anything to do with Corey at the very beginning. Like
they got past. Yeah, she like both of them are weirdly obsessed with him, and the only thing wrong in her life is like, oh, my grandmother's a little protective, and my boss is an asshole. That's it. She's like, I'm gonna burn this town to the
This
ground.
movie was severely missing the likability
alcoholism.
charm of Judy
Where was her
Greer.
alcoholism at?
yeah, we did need
Oh,
Judy.
TJ, once you get over your
No,
trauma,
she
your
drinks at the
alcoholism
end,
goes
right
away.
before
You
a
didn't
big
know that?
confrontation. She's drinking.
Oh wait, but no, that was acting. That was drink acting, Brian. Okay.
No,
wasn't
she was
real.
suicide acting, but
Also,
she was really
tell your
drinking.
Granddaughter
was
just
acting,
get
method
fucked.
acting.
That scene where she's like, and then just pop your tits
Do
out.
you really think I would kill myself?
I don't remember. Can someone refresh my memory? Did Tommy Doyle die in the last one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
That's
wondering-
another thing. The whole town was fucking. A good portion of that town was massacred, and the next year they're like biggest Halloween ever.
There's still Michael Myers' body not found, and 1 year later, and they're just
4
like
years
party. The whole town is Corey.
It's 4
But
years
the
later.
is it the but the Corey thing happens 1 year, like the
Corey
the
thing
year
happens the night of Evil Dies Tonight.
of the same night.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
okay.
thought that one was 4 years later.
I thought the
and he
Corey thing happened the next year,
Oh.
and then it was 4 more years.
I was under the assumption when we opened up it was the night of Halloween
This
kills.
is a great sign of good writing.
Yeah,
and
it's a
good
bad
storytelling.
movie. Could we also just talk about? Imagine getting that phone call. It's the end of the night. It's like 11:45 at night. It's like midnight. Finished trick or treating, and like TJ's like, "Yo, yeah, no, the crazy one. Laura, yeah. You remember her, Michael? All right. Well, we got her body strapped to the roof like a fucking Christmas tree. Nah. Meet. What did it do? Oh, I meet her at the junkyard. All right. Yeah. Nah, you might want to bring like a 6-pack or something. There's like 30 of us. It actually looks like an awesome time.
Yeah,
But-
they really go all out. The town
Right
really
there,
goes
they-
all out.
There were so many people.
Well, I gotta say, there's one thing. If I have to give this movie any fucking credit, because I've hated it. If I haven't,
I didn't hate it like we hated Kills.
But
That's what I was
That
actually
was
thinking. It was
different.
great. You could skip over Kills. This movie lines up perfectly. You could skip Kills.
You can skip over the
altogether.
entire trilogy.
I could have just not watched this movie. Yes,
You could skip every movie after Halloween 1978.
But if we're gonna end it on this,
H2O is fun, and Season of the Witch is fun.
that Joe was just hinting at, which I always think of when I was a kid. Like, how would I kill these killers even if they're dead? I would cut Chucky in half and throw him in a volcano. I would
Yeah,
Freddy pieces. I'll give this fucking movie credit. At the end, when they throw him in the fucking metal shredder, I was like, bravo. 'cause
finally
Yeah.
a movie did it. 'Cause
they've done that.
I know Child's Play, because we can't go hard without watching them. Because TJ, you and I have talked about this before. Of like, as a kid, I'd be like, wow, I'd like, and then Chucky the series or Child's Play. One of the movies answered it for me. Eventually, it's like if you chop them up and put them in a bunch of different,
The
safes and
parts all
barrels,
still can come
yeah,
together.
and he still shows up. Then I'm just done. I used to say that.
It's like, I'm out.
But yes, the wood chipper. I'm more on I think I will one day watch Halloween Ends again, and like I think it has potential to be like a fine beer movie of like we laugh at it and like you're like that was a little fun in the sense, and we could talk over the whole thing, kind of like this podcast.
And please remember what he just said for when we're doing another thing during our show. That's
in
it's important.
like 2 years, me and Joe will be doing a Flyover State of Fear on Halloween Ends.
Yeah,
So.
but I don't think this is like deservedly of like it's actually the best. And Cole says I think a lot of especially horror fans have such a fucking bad time criticizing shit.
Oh yeah,
and
horror
like
fans the least critical.
every one of them, their reviews.
It wasn't
this was Chuck
focused.
Me. It was like, I was surprised. I thought I'd hate it, but loved it. Actually, it made a lot of great points.
They always have the caveat of like, it's not going to be for everyone. Oh, you guys, but that's the coward's way.
Tonight, it's all releasing. You guys ready? The Rock to come out being like, we made Black Adam for the fans.
Oh, I know it's already got like a 50% on Rotten.
I mean, he's already used that for.
You know how bad it is.
He used that for.
And I don't know if David ever watches it, but we all know our buddy Dave Wilson online. He loves everything. He's just a big fan of IP. Yeah. I saw a tweet from him that was like, well, that goes to prove a big cameo can't save a bad movie. And I was like, damn, did that dude just call Black Adam bad? That must be a pretty bad
I saw that.
Like David loves, David likes to give things the benefit of the doubt. He's a positive guy, and if he's coming out, that must be
that
pretty
was
damn
actually
bad.
the first tweet I saw of it, and then I saw more, and I was like, ooh. Ooh, yeah, The Rock's charm. He's about 9 years too late on that movie anyway.
I'm gonna go watch The Scorpion King instead.
Ooh.
All right, topic.
Charming as hell and Egyptian.
Topic.
You're gonna play a game or some shit.
That's Halloween Ends. We have a game. We have trivia next planned for us?
Who's got trivia? Who's up?
Oh, I got trivia. Let me write down the timestamp so it's easier for me to edit.
Oh, so live in
edit out this boring part about
no, I mean we can just talk about Halloween Ends a little more while Yusuf gets that up.
No, I'm done. All right, so a quick trivia game, pretty simple, like we always do. I'll say the question. Some of them will be the first one only. Actually, the first one will be multiple choice. The rest are gonna be name that movie, and then you guys will scream. The first one I'm gonna say all the answers and then say name that movie, and whoever says their names first with their best connection can answer.
Okay.
All right, this is all horror movie trivia.
TJ.
Which franchise / universe has the most entries? Conjuring Universe, Paranormal Activity, Leprechaun, Wrong Turn. Name that movie.
Brian.
Joe.
Brian.
Wrong Turn.
Joe.
I was gonna say Wrong Turn too. I believe The Conjuring. Because you're using
TJ.
Leprechaun is 4. Conjuring is 3.
No, Leprechaun's got like 6. I think it's Paranormal Activity. It's Paranormal Activity.
Leprechaun.
Leprechaun it is! Leprechaun has 8!
Oh, they did like an origin movie and shit.
Wait, The Conjuring 1, The Conjuring 2.
I was only counting Lord David.
Conjuring has 7. Conjuring has 7. Paranormal Activity has 7. Wrong Turn has 6. And Leprechaun has 8.
Now, wait, does that also include the new one?
I got a point, damn it.
I thought it was
stop
6.
Stop Googling, dude. Name 2 of the movies that are considered to be among the most profitable movies of all time. Name those movies.
Horror movies?
It's a horror movie.
Joe. That would be the Blair Witch Project and Paranormal Activity.
That is correct.
Joe's Googling.
My hands were not
Googling.
Joe, close your laptop.
Joe's got Yusuf hooked into it. It's just like whatever Yusuf says goes right into Joe's Google. It's got it like lined up.
All right. What was almost the title of the Friday the 13th movies? Name that movie.
Joe.
TJ.
Oh, Fuck. Camp something.
No shit. Joe.
Summer camp.
Brian.
Camp Blood.
Give me something more.
That was the nickname.
Murder at Camp Blood. Terror at Camp Blood.
Long night at Camp Blood.
A long night at Camp Blood. Okay.
I'm gonna give you a 0.5.
Give me a half. Ooh, I got a half point.
Maybe it'll
I was literally gonna say Camp Blood, and I was like, well, no, that's just the nickname in the movie because I knew
the nickname was a reference. I just couldn't remember what the whole deal with it was.
That at trivia last week.
What is the number one rule in Randy's survival of horror movies? Name that movie.
Joe.
It's
Scream, but the number one rule is don't split up.
Brian.
No sex.
Yeah, baby.
Damn it.
Don't put your pee in no vagina or butt.
And then and then 2 is an extension of number 1. It's a big no-no.
All right. This is for Brian. Or for all of you watch this. Which character appears in all 4 Jaws movies? Name that movie. TJ.
Ellen Brody.
Brian. Michael Brody.
That's correct.
Fuck.
What movie series is based on an unproduced episode of the X-Files? Name that movie.
Joe.
Unproduced
episode of the X-Files. It's a series?
It's a series of movies.
28 Days Later. I don't know.
I was thinking Sandra Bullock's 28 Weeks.
I'm trying to think.
TJ. Paranormal Activity?
Oh, Yusef came with some questions.
Yeah,
you said it's a series of movies based on an unproduced screenplay.
From the X-Files, an unproduced episode of the X-Files.
And it's a franchise of movies. There's multiple of them.
6.
I got
5.
nothing.
4. The final
destination. Damn it! I just got there.
All right. Now we're going into a section of name the movie that has the following character names. All right. So far we have 1 point for TJ, 1 point for Joe, 2.5 for Brian. However, in this round, if you get it on the first character, you get 5 points. And if I keep mentioning characters, the points go down.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The first set of characters. And I'm going to give you like a second after the... I'm not going to say name. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This round, if you know it, you know it.
I blanked out when you're giving out the rules.
I'm going to start saying names. It's going to be
as
5
soon as you know what movie he's saying, chime in.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. We're starting. Franklin. Kirk. Sally. Grandfather. Leatherface.
Joe.
Texas
Chainsaw Massacre.
Joe got a 1 point. I thought
you said You said Franklin, and all I could think was the only
turtle?
black kid on Charlie Brown.
I was thinking of the turtle.
I thought you would have gotten it with grandfather.
Hey, it's Franklin coming out to play.
This one, I think you're gonna get it with the second one. All right, Michael.
Joe. Halloween.
Michael. Sam.
TJ.
Joe.
TJ.
Lost Boys.
Yeah! 4 points for TJ. All right. Point recap. TJ has 5. Joe has 2. Brian with the 2.5.
Now they're running again.
All right. This is the last one. Anybody's game. Miss Mac. Yes. Peter, Barb, Billy,
Joe.
Joe,
Scream?
Miss Mac, Jess, Peter, Barb, Billy. Billy.
Oh, I know.
TJ.
TJ.
Faculty.
It.
Pet Cemetery?
Black Christmas.
Oh.
Colorful.
I don't know any of those characters' names in
TJ's
Black
the
Christmas.
winner.
I don't know any of the characters' names in Black Christmas.
TJ really
It's the
coming through.
girls and the guy on the phone, and that's
TJ
how I
was
know them.
clutch. TJ was clutch with that Sam.
Right.
All right, topic.
Topic.
Oh, I think this was my topic, right? Did I come up with this?
Yep.
This me? Anybody remember what it was? Hold on, I'm looking. Oh yeah.
Scariest
We're coming up with
universe.
I was just what's the my idea was just like what would the scariest horror franchise to live in as just a regular person, not as a cast member of the movie or a character in the movies, but just like a universe that would be scary to live in as a normal person. So anyone can start. Feel free, or I'll
Yusuf,
start.
it sounds like you
time
got
to
one.
think. Yusuf, yes, go ahead.
I feel like because you said like you're not the cast members, right? And I was like, what world would I be scared? You know, as a young adult, as somebody that has nieces, maybe in the future I'll have kids, and that is a world where Mark Wahlberg is shaping the minds of our kids, and is the happening. Like this is a teacher. This is like considered a smart person in this world. And also, you know, plants are killing people.
Now,
whatever.
come on, I do like the way he tells that handsome kid he's going to be ugly someday. That's fun.
Yeah.
Hey, you may not can always be good looking there, champ.
You may not always be sponsored by
We're from
I
Philadelphia.
used to do Calvin Klein ads. Hey.
This isn't that nice Shyamalan movie. You bring your ass over to Bucks County.
You know, you think you're gonna be a model forever? I don't model any underwear anymore.
Thank Christ,
but yeah.
buddy.
But yeah, that was my pick. I mean,
That's funny.
That's a
I have
funny pick.
I guess a not humorous answer. Final Destination.
That's okay. Yusuf didn't have a humorous answer either.
Yeah.
Thank
Final
you. I was
Destination.
waiting for somebody to say it.
Final Destination. For two reasons. Think about how many funerals you're just gonna have to fucking go to.
Very depressing universe in Final Destination.
Like, oh wow, all my friends just died on a roller coaster.
But also, they're
did
very cost effective though. They tend to like lump them. They tend to do just
Big
one mass
funeral.
But then like the ones later on, like only like 3 weeks later, and then like if I'm hanging out with one of the characters, I might be in that path now to death. Like that lane of death is so much more unexpected.
Well, yeah, you always got to be on your guard too. Like
Yeah.
you got to be real ever vigilant.
Because if it's any slasher, I
Always
just
have to
stay
look
away
both
from
ways
that
in the
town.
street.
Right?
Yeah,
I just don't go camping.
Right. That was my thing with like that's why I kind of wanted to be like not as a character because obviously they're all scary in their own way, but like, you know, most movies are like you got to be in the vicinity or like maybe you're in a group of people that wronged or like your parents wronged them, you know what I mean? So I wanted something that like was more
and like for Friday, like for Nightmare, we just like don't live in that town. Maybe don't live in that area.
Just don't be a teenager in Springwood.
Don't have an alcoholic mother.
Oh,
the most dramatic alcoholic mother.
I was gonna say because this fucked me up when I saw the movie, even though like what the guys did was obviously worse than what happens is you get in your brain, but like Saw, living in that universe, because like even if you're not gonna be the victim, you're not a cast member. If you hear about that town, you're like, fuck. I remember that one time I fucking rear-ended the guy's car and got him flat, and I pulled off without telling him or leaving a note, and just all the stupid bad shit you did, and be like, dude, if this guy fucking gets me, put me in a trap over this, I'm gonna be fucking pissed. But he's like, is there anything I've done that's as bad, so you just start like getting to like a panic, anxiety attack.
Yeah,
Well, the thing,
but he,
Jigsaw,
like-
Jigsaw didn't even make you wait till you commit crimes. He would just decide if he thought you weren't living
Yeah.
up to your potential.
He's like
So,
Jigsaw's like
you didn't necessarily even have to be that bad of a person. And
Yeah,
if Jigsaw
Jigsaw's-
just like thought you were lazy, he'd be like, "Nah,
Yeah.
you should learn to appreciate your shit a little bit more."
you are
Jigsaw's
too complacent at work. You're not on a career
Yeah.
path for a
Jigsaw's
promotion.
logic
Decide if you want to live, motherfucker.
by the second one's like, oh, you're addicted to heroin and you had trouble staying clean? Not on my
So you
watch.
deserve torture, not treatment.
A guy who like
3 needles? No, thank you.
yeah, who stared at a girl too long, even though he's married. Like, I think you're gonna commit adultery. Outta here.
But TJ,
Just start predestining that. You know what? You could have done something bad, so I'm just
But
gonna
that's
get ahead of this.
I
That
see
would
you
fucking
smoke-
Minority
just a
Report.
regular person just be like, "What did I do?" And this guy's just gonna catch me one day because I fucking bailed.
But
on
it's also it's genuinely terrifying too, because they were like, I feel like maybe I just don't watch news as much, but they're not as open to being like, there's a serial killer on the loose.
yeah.
But in that world, they were like, another fucking one.
Everybody was telling, they'd be announced. They had a scoreboard up for Jigsaw. And
They were like, those puzzle pieces are for autism awareness, not for the jigsaw. Get it right. I also feel like with TJ, it's the same. Like Saul has the same thing because I mean, Saul's not realistic, but like someone could just take him. Like I've been watching you don't use plastic and take out the trash. It's like the same thing of like I almost picked The Strangers, but like that's just like too horrifying.
too real.
Yeah,
Shit happens.
it's just like, oh, you were home, so we're fucking with you. I'm sure that.
That's a Thursday.
Yeah.
Like in America, in anybody in the world.
God damn it.
So Brian, what were you thinking?
As we were talking, I thought of a non-horror answer, but let me do my original horror movie answer, which was the 28 Days Later universe.
Yeah.
Like the virus is it's so quick acting, it's so super virulent, and also the human element in that movie is so disgusting. Like what's left over, the people are even worse. You know, that's obviously like lots of zombie movies, but like you always have that, like in Night of the Living Dead, Romero's Night of the Living Dead, you have that like the people are the real monsters kind of thing. But
We were the
also,
monsters all along.
Yeah, but at least you can get away from those zombies maybe, or like get to like
Not in 28.
the rage fueled 28 Days Later zombies are
I
terrifying.
don't have the cardio. I don't have the cardio.
Right, they get my ass too, and not to mention like not to get political or anything, but we've seen how the world handles a plague. Like how many people wouldn't take it seriously? That shit would spread like wildfire. There wouldn't be no quarantining off any country. You know what I mean? Like it would just be too late. Like before there wouldn't even be the chance. You wouldn't even get that opportunity. It would just be over. The shit would be on your doorstep before you even knew it. Like,
and also I think the concept of living in a world where you have to survive has always been unappealing to me. Like, oh, you have to now just hunt.
like
you
the
have
road or something.
I
like
think the
that,
biggest-
where you just,
The biggest
world-
red flag.
There's no air conditioner anymore. Fucking kill
I'm just
me.
gonna, you know what? I always connected. Speaking of 28 Days Later, the kid's parents just finds him with a bucket of pills. Like I don't know if shit got that grim. I can see it. Like, I
Yeah.
don't. What am I gonna fight zombies for the next 20 years and eat fucking cans of
wow.
soup and shit? No, I'm good.
I think the worst apocalyptic world for that reason that doesn't make sense to me, and the movie's fine, is the Quiet Place world because it's like, how'd you guys bang to get 3 kids in this world?
Well, they had 3 kids before the aliens,
And they have the
only
baby.
they make one baby during.
And they suppress the cryings. How do you? I took a shit today. I'm gonna take one not too long. How do you like just keep that you self quiet? That the plops.
Yeah, I think the Quiet Place works if you just don't think about it too much. It's just like a fun concept. You just don't want to dig into that too much, though.
You gotta poop in the ground, Joe.
Oh, and then my non-horror answer that I thought of while we were talking is the Godzilla, the new American Godzilla, 2014 Godzilla, King of Monsters universe. Because like there's like 20 gigantic monsters, and they're way bigger than they've ever been. And every time they come up out of the ground, they decimate like 10 cities. So.
I'm with Yusuf. Any superhero.
MCU, man.
Yeah,
Fucking.
MCU.
My wife and I remember like the one time I made her laugh, like legit laugh out loud after watching the movie was when we watched Chronicle. And there's a scene where there's just this family eating and they fucking burst through the floor and then the wife and father they got divorced because he was like adamant to putting like hardwood floors, and they're like bankrupt now because they're trying to remodel the house and
Yeah,
He had
any of
PTSD about things just blowing up through the floor at him.
any of those fucking worlds. It's like, oh, just going to work today and Dunkin' Donuts. Oh no.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Godzilla just wiped the whole city off the planet, and he's the good guy. We're
And
supposed,
he's the
and then
good guy.
like imagine they touch on it a little bit with the Kyle MacLachlan character, not Kyle MacLachlan. What's that guy's name? Anyway, the guy who's in that, who like his kid died in the first Godzilla attack, and then he's in King of Monsters, and it's like the idea of like everybody's like, oh, thank goodness for Godzilla. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Thank goodness for Godzilla.
Kyle Chandler.
Yeah, Kyle Chandler. That's who I was thinking of.
Topic.
Topic.
I guess we're back to
Topic.
another
We're burning them.
Who's
Tight,
gonna
tight, tight.
It's mine. What's the topic
Take that.
that I thought of?
It's the match game.
Oh
So
yeah,
we got a
yeah.
match.
So obviously, I thought we had so much fun last time casting each other in films, characters, stuff like that. Why not cast each other's killer slashers from film? So, guys, who wants to
More
start?
spooky fun.
Are we? Do you want to do the same thing? Like everybody cast one of us.
Oh yeah, works. Yeah.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you?
You said
Let's start with TJ since it was his idea.
it was my idea. So we're saying who I'm gonna be.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
who's the killer that you? I'll go first, because I picked a ginger piece of shit who doesn't accept the wisdom of his elders and turns against them. I turned Malachi, Courtney Gaines from Children of the Corn. Courtney Gaines also great in The Burbs, but I thought he's more killy in this one in Children of the Corn. So get in there. There's not too many ginger slashers out there that aren't Chucky. I didn't want to give him the prestige of getting to be Chucky. You know what I mean?
But I'm actually gonna give him Chucky, but it's not. It's because they're both redheads and they both dress like children. And there's. So I feel like they're very, intertwined. And I feel like he's so fucking obsessed with Chucky that one of you had to get it.
I was gonna give TJ that kid from the Warriors, even though that's not a horror movie.
Oh, okay,
The
all
Pops
right.
come out to play.
He's the guy who's also in Commando, who gets dropped off the cliff by Arnold in Commando.
You guys, you're so fucking funny. Oh, I'm not casting myself, right?
No. Oh, that was the one, Joe? I thought you said you were, even though.
Oh, I mean, I could give you a better one because it's not really a movie villain. That's just.
He does kill one person. He kills the guy at the beginning.
It's gonna watch it though. It's been a while.
I don't know. TJ, I kind of more pictured you as like not the main Centibite, but like Chatterbox.
Oh, okay.
Hey, that new one was pretty fun.
I like the new.
I heard
It's too fucking long though.
Yeah, it's
Aren't
20
they
minutes.
all?
But you sit.
Were you casting me or you want to start
No, I
with
see
somebody
you
else?
start.
I'm gonna cast Joe, but you just mentioned Hellraiser, and I told you to put it in your back of your mind, right? What he just said, that he's gonna watch the movie that he's piece of shit movie. So he's gonna be Pinhead because he's a masochist. Joe is a fucking masochist that keeps watching the shittiest of shit, even though he knows it's shit. And he's
pin in his head. It's like one's for the room
one
and
fucking shitty movie that. And then he buys the physical media because he has to have the collection.
That Megan, we saw the trailer for Megan. Tink, 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 tink.
Oh, it's gonna be so good.
The pain, the levels of pain you don't know, and he just whips out a fucking shitty movie, and it was like, oh, no, stop it!
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, that's my match.
Solid.
Thank you, Brian. Where do you see Joe?
I was.
No, go ahead.
Actually, you haven't cast it yet.
Well, I was gonna say with Joe, I was gonna be very nice about it, even though this guy is, deformed and stuff like that. But Joe, we all know you have the voice. You got the great voice, and this slasher to me has the best voice of them all, because a lot of them don't even fucking talk. That's Freddy. We also
Oh, thank you.
Freddy
I like that.
Yeah.
for
We do
the
have the voice.
but the
And
voice.
And you are a pedophile.
I am a child killer, so I'm pedophile.
Definitely.
The pedophilia is definitely implied, though,
How
even in the
sweet.
first ones.
Dark meat.
I wouldn't say that one.
I was watching Freddy versus Jason, and that was not implied. That was full on like I am a pedophile.
Yeah.
He licks the back of that fucking thing in the beginning and slaps it down, and he's like, my children.
Yeah,
Not
But
good.
yeah, before all that, Joe, that's all I was giving you.
No, I like it. I like it.
Freddy's
no,
got
he
voice up.
definitely has the voice.
If I've said it before, if I had the funds, I would like to one day pay an actual makeup artist to do a real Freddy Krueger costume.
Yours is spot on. Yusuf picture.
All right, Brian, I think we're waiting.
Yeah, I got to do my Joe pick.
Jesus. I
I also gave Joe one of my favorite slashers. It's a guy who has an obsession with horror movies, and he models himself, and he tries to become his hero, Leslie Vernon from Behind the Mask.
All right, hell yeah.
I was gonna.
like
do
that great thing.
I was
That's a
like,
great-
who's a killer who loves horror movies as much as Joe? You know?
I love that movie.
Oh, it's a classic.
I actually haven't seen it like full. I've seen parts. I've never actually sat down and watched it.
Highly recommend.
All right, do me. Tell me what fat murderer you picked for me.
No,
Let's go.
I picked Mrs. Voorhees because you're old around young people and you're a protective mother. So like it's a full on perfect match with you and Mrs. Voorhees. And also you're like kind of creepy sometimes, so full on.
That's great. Thank you.
I actually picked Chucky for you because you're a deadbeat dad who's a wise ass.
Yeah, well, that's fair. These are all fair. Yeah.
He's also obsessed with voodoo. He's very creepy about it.
I do love voodoo.
I mean, I was gonna do the old joke and give Michael Myers from Halloween 2018. I feel like that was too.
I'm old too.
Because you're old. Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah.
I'm old.
But then I want to use Leslie Vernon before you picked it for Joe, because that's a book you obsessed about also. So now I'm just like, who
There's nobody.
who makes the most sense for you? And I'm gonna have to say, have you ever seen the Funhouse from the 1980s?
I just watched the Funhouse actually.
Is it still on Shudder?
Yeah.
So yeah, you're the main. I don't know who it is. I know he's like the son of somebody.
The freaky monster.
Yeah, that's my guy.
The guy who gets he gets a handy and then it's not enough. He doesn't like it. He needs more.
Yeah.
He's
always thinking about like Harrison's masks. Like he loves masks. I'm like, that could be you, just a younger version of you.
Ah, yes, a horned monster. Truly. It's good stuff.
All right,
That's
so
good stuff.
Yusuf.
Oh, this one was.
I mean, I'll make the easy joke, and then I'll give you a real one. There, you're Tiffany because you're the wife of the party. I don't know. I pegged you because not because you're a minority, but because you're Candyman.
Okay.
When I say your name, I want to say.
As a black guy in the other pick too.
Oh no, Curse of La Llorona! I can't. I can't get that one.
The dentist. You're the dentist. You're Corbin Burnson from The Dentist.
Corbin Burnson.
I don't know. Candyman, because when I say your name in the mirror, I wish you would appear, and then you're very romantic.
Good save, buddy.
He's very sensual.
And also, I have a very strong finger, almost like a hook.
I was gonna go with one of our.
And I'm also sweet as honey, Joe.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, you got bees on you.
Go with one of our favorite foreign slashers, horror characters, because Yusuf is funny and likes to speak in rhyme sometimes, and his English is great. So Leprechaun. You're a leprechaun. You're taller than
and
me.
We also have great beards too.
Your beard is looking very.
It's about to die.
Yeah,
very
poignant. Take it off. Can't hack it anymore. Is it going away for the costume?
No, it's like I'm actually keeping because of the costume. I've been wanting to.
But it's getting itchy.
Yeah.
Getting too much.
When I lay down.
We got Brian on you.
Yeah. I'm the last one, I think. I picked because of his meticulous nature and he's very particular about the way he likes things. I picked John Doe from Seven.
Oh.
And I'm also a pedophile.
I've seen it. You know what? I've seen
and because of the sex crimes.
I've seen his Excel sheets. They are very John Doe-esque.
I would plan out those murders equally, if not better.
Oh, I wouldn't have made no mistakes, no dumb mistakes.
Nah, no, fuck that. Fuck my fingerprints, baby. Get them fuck off.
They definitely would not have. They definitely wouldn't have caught me with no library. I'll tell you that. I'm not going to study up like some nerd.
TJ, I want to redo yours for mine because I don't think you got a fair valued pick from me.
Okay.
I think one that's very fair and very accurate.
I think you should be Pumpkinhead.
Ooh, Pumpkinhead is a great pick, and he's also a ginger.
Tommy Red Wings.
Because we could resurrect you, and you could come back and you just fuck with everyone.
And then you can go away as well. So that's a great, a great balance.
Like the Pumpkinhead from the first Pumpkinhead, or the Pumpkinhead from the second.
I was thinking Pumpkinhead Blood Wings from the second one with Saline Moonfry.
Yeah, I like that.
And
that means
and the barber and the guy from Hellraiser from Child's Play 3.
Yeah.
He's
I don't know his name either.
He's the protagonist. I used to think he was the dad in Step by Step.
Oh, that's Patrick Duffy, isn't it?
Yeah, I used to thought it was Patrick Duffy for years because I was like, the lead of Hellraiser is also Patrick Duffy. That's weird.
That'd be amazing if it was.
Yeah, I'm the little boy who falls in the well. Great. Okay, I appreciate it.
Yeah. You didn't deserve just a throwaway guy who does the Coke bottles.
How about we talk about a movie that is very clear in my head? I remember everything.
We all didn't watch it recently. So last episode I picked.
Yeah, I definitely checked it out. I gave it a read.
It was right before recording. I'm like
88, 87.
No, I watched it like a week and a half ago, guys.
Yeah, I watched it a week ago. And I had picked it because I had picked up the Blu-ray and I had never watched it, and it was one of those like kind of like an early episode like Night of the Creeps. Like it was like, oh, there's just cheesy like gore-fest 80s horror film, and the cover was really creepy.
But arguably, is it a gore fest?
No, it's not.
We'll get into it.
It's not a gore fest. But like that's the way the cover looked. That's the way people.
Yeah. It's got that. I was gonna say, and I don't know, maybe this is just because I am very old, but this was a classic. See the VHS at the video store, this one was like a catch your eye. Like I always remember seeing the Night of the Demons cover.
That's why I picked it.
Yeah.
And
my notes are fire, but I don't remember what they are.
I'll try to get through. So basically, it's about what no kids would do. It's about a bunch of 26-year-old high school students.
Oh yeah.
Decide
Ryan Quigley is like fully 35 years old in this.
Yeah.
And they're all it's their classic, like all different, like this group shouldn't be friends too. Like they all
because one of them has a mortgage and 5 kids.
And also one of them is like, I always love this when there's a group of friends, but one of them is like such a horrific asshole that you would never be around them. Like the fat dude in this is so awful and so like rude to his girlfriend.
That's literally the first
abusive.
First line.
You would never keep that dude around.
The first line of him is like calling her a bitch. The first line is like, "Bitch, shut the fuck up." And I was like, "Oh wow."
I was tweeting out.
Boom.
I tweeted out like, "Man, movies in the 80s like for that were really misogynist." And Brian just replies with, "So you're watching Night of the Demon."
Yeah. But it's just that thing of like there's that person in the group that no one would ever actually have around. You're like, no one would tolerate this guy unless the only time I can think of the difference is in the the Friday the 13th remake, where the asshole kid is also the rich kid who has the house they want to go to. So that's how they, that's how you get by that.
I think, but it's
You
also
don't bring
chalked
the
up.
ass.
Pig is chalked up to classic of the time. Writers and people were like, "Well, this guy's actually funny, and it's not just to be here to be annoying."
What's up with his like haircut? He looked like he had makeup palette on the side of his head.
I didn't know if that was supposed to be part of his costume, or if he always walked around like that, or what.
It's a.
Can you imagine the upkeep though? Every time I see like very weird, interesting haircuts on, like think of like Back to the Future 2 or Demolition Man. Joe, you're driving me crazy with whatever you're opening.
Sorry, I need
Demolition Man, whatever the fuck. Like the upkeep of like keeping that fucking hairstyle, those sharp lines, the color.
Yeah, man, it's a status symbol. You gotta have money to keep up on that shit.
You guys miss it? Is that what it is? You miss it? Sorry.
Never had it.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. So they all meet and then they're all like, "We're gonna have a Halloween party in the old abandoned house."
What was it?
Old haunted house.
Parlor.
Yeah, the parlor.
Well, it's also like the goth girl and her slutty friend who you can't even tell if the people she invited like her.
That's what I meant in the sense of like the group doesn't make sense because there's two people there, the goth girl and a slut, that seem like they just showed up.
Hey.
We're gonna fuck these other friends.
Come on, pig. What the fuck, man?
I mean the promiscuous.
In Joe's defense, I did call her slutty, and the character is written to be.
Hey, man, have you ever met a slut that her boob eats lipstick?
That's I wish this
Name
movie
one.
Okay, here's my problem with this movie. It takes like a fucking hour to get going. Like, it's so boring in the first hour. You're just like, there's all these unlikable characters, and they're just milling around this house,
Dude,
nothing is happening. And
I felt bad. I felt bad for the old man in the beginning until because they're like bullying him for no fucking reason. I was like, well, this town is full of assholes. And then the one nice person that is dollar store Olivia Newton-John comes over and she's like, oh, can I help you? She's like, fuck you, whore. And I was like, what the fuck is this movie?
It's so sad. I was reading the trivia and that one discount Olivia Newton-John only was like, I said yes because it was to that character because the only character that didn't get naked.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, it's so they're in this house and they basically the one girl's like, well, let's just play a seance instead because the music goes out, and they summon fucking demons and possessions happen, and it's basically just like I'm not speeding through it. It's like survival. It's basically just who's last to survive movie.
Yeah, it's like everybody slowly basically it's turned, and you have some. When it does finally kick in, there is some good special effects stuff. There's good makeup in it.
I love demons look good. I love the back and forth between the girls, like Angela.
Did you know? Fun fact: demons also are into girl on girl action.
Obviously,
you didn't know that.
Is.
You didn't know that.
That's because it's so sinful.
That movie is so fucking horny. Like the promiscuous woman that has all the right in the world to explore her body and sexual needs. Her go-to move is just
only
pop
have to
out
say
the
that
vagina.
though when she wasn't written by a man. Like she was written by a man, which means she was meant to be slutty. We're not denigrating the woman. We're talking about the character, the way it was created.
And we talk about her powers though. As soon as she pops out that vagina and booty, people are hypnotized. Like it's gone. You're gone. You're a zombie at that point. Who's the demon?
She fills a Santa Claus sack of booze while
it's so funny.
Just waves her panties in the air for
I actually
10
like
minutes.
that bit was really funny as she's going around throwing things in and
it was just like
a shoulder okay, we could get going.
This reminded me a lot of Evil Dead. Even though some of the shots, I was like, wait.
It is an Evil Dead wannabe, especially the camera movement.
The hallway.
I wrote that. I was like, this is
without being Evil Dead, obviously.
Yeah.
I think some of the comedy hit. And if this is something, that you guys have done to me probably at least 5 to 6 times, where this just seems like something TJ would see back when I was.
Yeah, I'm shocked this is not like a TJ.
I always saw it on Peacock and Tubi and all those different channels, and I'm like, I gotta watch one of these days. But it's like this, and there's another demon one that I get confused with all the time.
Well, there's a movie called Demons, which
maybe that's the one.
Is a movie about demons that people are going to see a horror movie in the movie theater, and the demons come to life and actually out of the movie theater and start attacking people within the theater.
That sounds sick.
And you don't really they try to more escape. It's a pretty good movie, and it's more of a, even though it's called Demons, it's more of that movie has more of a zombie feel to it, if anything else.
But this one has
Dario Argento too. Is Demons Dario Argento? It's one of those Italian filmmakers, I think. Demons.
Sargento. This movie, but you're saying before, there's hardly gore, and other than the look of everything, this is missing something.
It becomes more like a monster movie than anything else, I guess.
I was proud of its progressive writing though. Like the black kid makes it all the way to the end.
And he was also the one
want to get out of there. He was.
I was saying, him and the other girl was
the one. It was very realistic.
I liked it was like, I'm out of here, and I like how
I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. Why am I gonna hang out with Why am I hanging out with all these white people? Was essentially his line of reason. And he looked at the Asian lady. He was like, "Are you really staying?" And he's like, "I'm sorry."
She was like, "My scene to get topless hasn't come yet. I got."
And the only other
dude, oh my god, I forgot about that. They die naked, right?
Yeah,
they die in the coffin, and they show up clothes. The thought of like a bashful
the demons like putting their clothes back on.
Couldn't stop laughing. He's like, "Ooh, I really don't want to walk out with my dick out, man. I know that I'm just a demon and I'm possessing a dead body,
but we have standards.
Flopping. I don't want to be flopping around."
That doesn't have anything to do with it. That's again, we're talking about the era the movie was made in. They were so afraid of male nudity back then. I was just watching.
Even the Asian character,
she gotta be Asian.
Oh yeah, she just was.
She was Asian. I'm sorry.
She has a name.
I can't rewrite it, Joe.
Oh no, It also, the one thing that boggled my mind too, because it was that like when the kid leaves, I was like, I'm out of here, you out of here, and then this kind of Olivia Newton-John and her boyfriend, he's like, let's check out the bedrooms in here, we'll find a good spot. Yeah. I'm like, who is horny enough to bang in that house? They have homes that they pay mortgages on. These adults.
Yeah.
These are grown adults. Go back to your homes.
Like that was a dirty fucking house, and that guy's like,
and he immediately starts slut shaming her, going like, "Ooh, he's husband material. You don't let that one go."
Real like, "Oh, you didn't give it up in the first 5 minutes. Well, fuck you. Then I'll just go find the slutty girl and get with her."
Oh, he immediately pivoted, and he was like, "Blondie."
Yeah, Blondie. Pop that booty up again.
Isn't he the one who gets like eaten by her boobs?
Yeah. I think that's the best.
But it's always really funny 80s horror movie trope of especially these kind of teenagers with rock hard fake boobs.
Yeah, no body shaming or anything. She had very weird boobs because it was like one very big one and one very.
Well, there was the prosthetic of clearly.
No, it was her real.
Hers.
I did want to say the switch to the prosthetics is pretty decent though.
Yeah,
they're a little too shiny. They still look a little waxy, but they're pretty. Like they got the shape and everything right. They look like her.
I thought the funnest makeup transitions was that, and then they had a good sense of switching to the normal face, the two girl demons.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember the name Angela. I don't remember the blonde's name.
Dude.
Allison?
No, just
there are two faces, or Judy. I think it was Judy.
Miranda.
Anyway, they'd flip it back and forth between regular face and demon face, and like a mid face, and that was well done.
I also like when you're watching a horror movie and you can tell, especially with actresses, when they were hired, because you know they're going to become a demon later, because they'll have like, they'll pick these actresses with very kind of severe features, like high cheekbones and like narrow chin, pointy chins, and you're like, I know they're going to put some weird makeup on you later, because you got an interesting look already.
Yeah, that's a Parker Posey role.
Yeah, can somebody explain to me the interpreted dancing that happened during that movie? I
Nice.
feel like they told her like, you're possessed, feel it out, and she just started dancing, and they didn't have the heart to be like,
I had that on
can we
when
cut?
it was
Because it
last Tuesday,
was like 5 minutes long.
Monday or Tuesday, whenever we were supposed to record last. I was watching it, and Laura had walked in, and I was like, I think you'd handle this, but I don't know what's going to come on screen from like a gross factor. And that scene just played, and I was like, yeah, I didn't say this was going to be good.
Good.
I didn't say what kind of gross I meant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it just goes on and on.
She was like,
See,
"Oh
just-
my god, all those classes are paying off.
Well,
I'm gonna be on the silver screen."
I think Angela is the like antagonist in the sequel.
If she comes back for the sequels, I don't know if it's the same
'Cause
actress.
I know
or
it's
not,
on the-
but the
I know it's
character
on-
I
does.
saw there was like 6 of these,
Yeah, I know it's on the cover. Like
What?
it's like Angela's back.
or at least.
There's a few.
Yeah,
Actually, they remade this.
they remade it. Yeah,
So this
When
movie happened,
2018.
How long ago?
and then they remade this in 2009.
Oh,
And there's a documentary about it too.
Oh,
Ooh,
Like a
why?
bunch of, like scenes.
yeah. This movie doesn't seem like it deserves
yeah.
all that.
It
No.
Honestly,
it was remade with like it's on. If you go to Amazon, it's the one recommended on Amazon.
Oh,
It-
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
has
yeah,
like
yeah.
Shannon Elizabeth in it. And then clearly Amazon doesn't really know because I was so confused because one says 2009 and another says 2011. And then like it's just how it's uploaded. Like it's uploaded
Yeah.
like 3 different times with like different information. But it's the same movie.
My
On
last,
the-
my last note is that I couldn't stop fucking laughing when like all the zombies or demons, whatever, came and they cornered Olivia Newton-John and the black character, and he, instead of like staying with her and fighting or doing anything, he decides to jump out the fucking window. He was like, "Fuck this white bitch! I am out the window," and he just fucking crashes through the window. And you can tell that he didn't expect to survive because as soon as he gets up, he's like, "Oh, I'm good." He was like, "I'm gonna kill myself. Fuck this shit. Fuck you,
That's
bitch. I'm
amazing.
out. I'm out."
Uh,
But that's
Yeah,
all.
like I
That's
said,
all.
I didn't think this was terrible or anything. It's pretty by the numbers as far as like
Yeah,
possession
I thought
movie
I
goes. Took a little long to get going. Has some
my
good,
wish
interesting
wish-
like body horror beats and cool makeups in the end. Like
I wish this was a better Flyover pick in the sense of like a what the fuck from what the cover is to what people had told
That's
us,
what
right?
threw
it
me
either
off.
need to be worse or better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like oh, if I'm ever doing a Halloween movie marathon and I need the midday point where we're not watching it, this might go in.
This is a great nap movie.
It's
It's
a-
throw
it's
this
a
on
good-
and catch a little nap.
Yeah, palate cleanser, like you called it before. Like I would throw this on in between like 2 really good ones, just like I have to do some dishes real quick, or I'm gonna make a
Yeah.
sandwich or dinner real quick.
I'm not mad that I own it, put it that way, but I'm not like trying
There
to
goes
be like.
Pinhead, man, right there. My Pinhead. Can we talk about the ending before we go into a ratings phase with the old man eating the pie?
You'll have to remind me. I don't think I remember what happened.
He's an asshole again. Picks up the paper. The wife hands him a piece of pie. He eats it, and a fucking razor blade cuts
Oh,
through his
that's right.
throat.
Oh fucking A, yeah.
Yeah,
And
Well,
and
like,
the wife
totally,
is like,
totally useless, but like interesting. Like cool.
Yeah, I
Okay,
was like,
yeah.
alright, cool,
It's like
I'm
they had
down for that.
They had one more horror gag they wanted to do. They didn't know
yeah.
where to put it.
They had a
so
little
they're
more
like,
budget. They have a budget for this neck thing.
I already made this prosthetic. Then whatever, you want to use it or?
Did I tell you?
Dude,
Speaking
we
of
haven't used it. Let's kill the asshole.
good
right.
prosthetics, did I tell you I was so bummed. My in-laws were watching one of the AMC like Fear Fest or whatever, and the original Friday the 13th was on, and I was like, oh, best scene where the fucking goes through Kevin Bacon's and it cuts the hand, the
Did
TV
you
edit
show it?
cuts away from that whole thing, just goes to the next scene. And I was like, well, you guys should turn this off.
Dude, I wonder if they cut the part when, like, I think it's in the third or the fourth one.
I don't know. Anyway,
where
that
they
just reminded me.
where they throw the kid in the wheelchair down the stairs.
Oh,
wonder
it's
if
in
they
two.
cut
That's
that.
in two. Yeah.
No, they cut Mac and me off all TV syndication.
Let's go into the ratings
Ratings phase. I can't even. My sickness is ratings phase. Ratings phase.
DJ.
I'll jump right into this.
Do it,
This
baby.
is a movie that I would watch as a kid, and I would probably have loved because the comedy would have hit so much for me. But think how blurred I am now with those type of fucking movies. Even though Mac and Me is a great film, everyone should watch it, and Kids in Wheelchairs should be on TV more, if you ask me.
I own Mac and Me because of TJ.
I'll give this a clean, because I had fun with it for what I can remember of it. Clean 4.5. I have tried seances as a kid, and I'm glad none of them worked out like this. And sometimes maybe I wish maybe they did if I got away. But
See, TJ would be like talking and then gives what I would consider to be a pretty bad score.
Yeah, I thought you were going. We're like,
I was like, the way TJ was talking, I was like, he's gonna get this thing up to like 6.5, 7, but he's like 4.5.
I had 5 right there, but I just went 4.5.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think I'm probably at about a 5. Like inoffensive, but I watched it about a year ago for the first time, and like didn't really remember, and I won't really remember much of it after I've already forgotten. You know what I mean? It just doesn't stick with me. It's not something I'm going to go back to because there's always something better I could be watching. You know what I mean? That's kind of the way I look at it. So, but it's not a bad movie. It's not like it's got some stuff worth watching. And if you're a horror fan, you're one of those people who just loves it all. This would be a fine one for anybody. So yeah, like a 5.
I'll go with a.
Yeah, I think I'm. Oh god.
Say same thing. Not offensive. Not anything special. Maybe it gets thrown on next year. Right there with you. I'll go 5.1 for. I like some of the make effects a little more than on, and the those iconic VHS covers.
Yeah, I thought it was boring as fuck. 3.5.
Damn.
I'm
Never
gonna
gonna
watch
watch
the
it.
remake though, just for the hell
Yeah,
of it.
I think I want to watch the remake. I kind of want to check out the sequels. I think one was made in like the fourth one. If I saw was like '97. I was like, that's got to be a gem.
That's
Yeah,
true.
boy, I bet that's a good one.
Yeah,
Right of the demons.
check it out. 'Cause it's like a green cover.
Yeah, there's 3 of them.
3 of them. Okay, was it '97 or was that?
Yep, 97. And
Right
it
at the
says,
peak of the like Scream era when we're like,
Yeah, so they're
horror's
definitely
back, baby. So let's
and
do,
Angela, by the way, is back on all of them.
same actress.
Same actress, I believe. Eggline of this kind of fucking rules. It's her holding a martini glass with eyeballs like Shrek.
Oh, I seen that one.
Angela is up to her old tricks again.
There goes Angela. Fucking Angela.
First of all, we already have an Angela. She's in sleepaway camp, so sorry.
Yeah.
She's in the
We don't
office.
need a
apparently.
second. We don't need a second Angela. All right, Yusef,
Right.
talk to us about next week.
This was a hard pick, honestly, because you gotta factor in a lot of things. One, is it a good enough movie that would be in someone's top 10? 2, is it a good enough movie that merits, discussion? Like, because it's a fucking podcast, it's not, if they pick The Exorcist, people are gonna be like, oh yeah, it's a good movie. But we already talked about The Exorcist, and we've already talked about Child's Play, and we've already talked about so many other horror movies. So, my pick, even though I wouldn't necessarily put it in the top 10, but it is a good enough movie that you can argue is in the top 10, and it's a fun enough movie to discuss on the podcast. We're doing Evil Dead 2.
Oh.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
I
So,
think I'm gonna watch both of the Evil Dead.
per the rules of this format this year is we will have
doing
to
our
place
horror top 10s. First
horror
time,
top 10s.
Flyboys horror top 10s.
And they could do your personal top 10s.
Top
and
9s, and then we're gonna add in a.
But you have to place. You could put Evil Dead 2 at 5 if you want. Nothing stopping.
You could put it up your ass if you want. I
You
don't
could
care.
like I said, it's 10 movies, and if Evil Dead 2 ends at the bottom of your list, it ends at the bottom, but you never know. But it's got to be on there somewhere. You're gonna factor it in with your favorites and see.
I think that's
see
a
what you
safe
think.
pick. I really thought
It's definitely a classic. So I mean, it's got that going for it.
I really thought.
And it's
I really
funny.
need to buckle down and put some thought into my top 10 because I started a list and then like abandoned it because I was like, I got so much time before that, and now it's like next week.
Yeah, so we got to get cracking on that. Where can everyone find you,
TJ.
TJ?
You guys can find me at TJDex on Twitter, and you're on Flyover State of Film YouTube. Check us out. Like, subscribe, hit that thumbs up thing. What else did they say, guys?
Like and subscribe. That's it.
Right.
Turn on notifications so you know when we drop new content.
Yeah.
I really I'm about to poop my pants again. You can find me right here at Flyover State of Fear, Flyover State of Film, Shenanigans1 on Twitter, talking movies normally. I gotta poop, guys.
All right. Well, you can find me on Twitter at Hercules, talking slightly less about poop.
Bye.
Bye.